Hello students, today we are going to start with lesson 2 of class 10th first flight book, that is Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela. But before starting it, you must be aware of certain terms. First is autobiography. It is the story of a person's life written by the person himself. The lesson we are going to read is Long Walk to Freedom. It's written by Nelson Mandela and it's about his life itself. So it's autobiography. Next is biography, the story of a person's life written by somebody else. Apartheid, the former official government policy in South Africa of separating people of different races and making them live apart. You can say this was the policy of discriminating people on the basis of their caste, color and creed. Now discrimination means treating one person or group worse than others. So this chapter is an extract from the autobiography of Nelson Mandela, who was born on 18 July 1918, the first black president of South Africa. Excerpts from Long Walk to Freedom include description of the inauguration ceremony, citations from his speech, his journey to being a freedom fighter, the struggle, along with a tribute to other freedom fighters and countless other people who fought for their freedom. In South Africa, a brutal practice named apartheid was followed. Apartheid refers to the discrimination between people on the basis of their race. It was one of the most brutal societies where dark-skinned people were deprived of their basic rights. This lesson gives us an overview as to how Nelson Mandela, along with others, carved their way to a society where there will be no discrimination on the basis of their color, caste, race, age or gender. Now I am going to explain you this lesson paragraph wise and along. Now starting with the first paragraph, 10th May was the day when Nelson Mandela sworn in as the first black head of state South Africa. It was after years of struggle that his anti-racist party came into power. Until then, the seat had always been occupied by white presidents. That is why the author referred to the day as bright and clear. It was a morning full of hope. Days before this date, many notable personalities started congratulating him for his victory. For the first time in the country's history, so many international leaders came together for their inauguration ceremony. The ceremony took place in an open circular building made of sandstone consisting of union buildings in the Pretoria city. The author was accompanied by his daughter Zenani on his big day. First, the two vice presidents took an oath. Then, when his turn came, he committed to respect, protect, and abide by the Constitution and to devote his entire self into the welfare of the country. The author also mentions some parts of his speech where he said that everyone by his presence was giving rise to hope for a new beginning. Previous rulers were discriminatory and lasted for long, but the ones who are given the opportunity to rule now would stand up against discrimination. He is glad to host a ceremony with the presence of global leaders. It is an achievement in itself. There was a time when South Africa, for practicing apartheid, lost all its international political relationships. Now, when there is no segregation on the basis of race and gender, other nations are happy to have healthy democratic relationships. Finally, they have come to power and they pledge to make everyone proud. He thanked everyone, especially the international leaders, for joining them in celebrating their achievement, which is a step towards an equal society where every human will be treated fairly. He mentions that after great struggle, they have finally achieved political freedom. His government promised to free everyone of the still existing poverty, hardship, and inequalities of all kinds, along with assuring everyone of a country where no community will be considered inferior. He then exclaims that freedom should rule and may God shower his blessings on their land. Now, just after the newly elected president's address to the audience, an impressive arrangement of fighter jets, helicopters, and soldier transporters raised everyone's heads up in the sky. It symbolized perfection as well as military's respect and obedience toward the free country. The high commanders, who have won medals for their bravery, also saluted and promised their loyalty. Mandela mentions that he was well aware that these commanders who were now saluting him would have arrested him under the previous rule, as during the oppressive white supremacy he was considered to be a criminal. The air show finally ended by making of the South African flag in the sky from smoke beneath the jets. The author remembers the day as the playing of two national anthems of the country, one of the whites and the other that of the blacks. On that day, no one knew the wordings of the anthem of the blacks, but Mandela was confident that everyone would soon learn this anthem that they once hated. On the day of the inaugural ceremony, the author was remembering the days of past when this whole system of apartheid emerged. It resulted in inequality and inferior treatment of dark-skinned people. They were deprived of their basic fundamental rights. As a result, one of the world's most brutal and inhumane society was born. This began even before he was born. This system created an atmosphere of extreme cruelty and injustice for a particular part of the community. Now, when he is in his 8th decade as a man, he, along with countless others, have changed this entire system that treats humans as humans, irrespective of their color, caste, gender, or age. This equal and free country was the result of sacrifices of countless other men and women who have fought all their lives for this day. The author wishes if he could thank them all, but unfortunately they didn't live to see the result of their courage. Nelson Mandela gathered his courage and power from all these people and thus wishes to make them proud. The oppression policy scared many people, and it will take a long time for them to move on. The author mentions that this hard time had its negative impacts, but it also exposed a lot of strong and courageous men who stood up and raised their voice. Thus, it required that level of unjust treatment to produce such great heroes. South Africa, he says, is rich in minerals and gems, but its greatest strength lies in its people. Nelson Mandela gained his strength to stand against the wrong from all the great nationalists he mentioned in the lesson, that are Oliver Tambo, Yusuf Dadus, Walter Sisulu, and many more, who have even risked their lives for freedom and tolerated ill treatment, but never stopped fighting. He learned that courage didn't mean the absence of fear, but the ability to overcome fear. One is taught by its society to hate humans because of their skin, color, age, gender, and religion. No one is inborn with hatred. The author's idea is that if people can be taught hatred, they can also be taught love and brotherhood. In their most testing times in prison, when they were being treated brutally, Mandela would see a pinch of humanity and kindness in one of the guards, and that was enough to keep him going. He believes that goodness in human beings can be suppressed but never eliminated. Now, the author mentions that every man has twin obligations. Here, twin obligations are that every human being has its responsibility towards The author did not have the plan to stand against the apartheid system early in life. He lives his childhood like a normal child in South Africa. He only had to follow the rules set up by his father or the customs of his tribe. Till then, he felt that he was free to do whatever he wanted. As soon as he grew up and began to learn the facts as to how people of color are treated, he decided to stand against it. He had this urge for freedom from inside, earlier just for himself, and later for having a basic life not just for himself but for everyone. In Johannesburg, they had to struggle for having a peaceful marriage, family, and basic amenities which everyone has access to where law and order exist. Nelson Mandela joined the African National Congress when he realized it is not only him whose basic rights were snatched away, but of all those who looked like him. He had this fire inside him to free his people from the injustice. It was this fire that changed the author completely as a man, from being sacred to brave, a lawyer to the one breaking the law, a family man to a man without a home, and a lively man into being a monk. It was the knowledge that he and his people have restricted freedom that made him into a selfless man as opposed to before. According to him, freedom cannot be divided. Snatching it away from some was equivalent to taking it away from everyone, and that meant taking it away from the author. He mentions that the need to free the oppressor is as high as that of the oppressed because the oppressor is bounded by the shackles of hatred. He has the weight of all the people who he has tormented, for he carries the curses of all of their families. For taking away someone else's freedom and making them prisoner, he becomes a prisoner of biasness. Thus, he is robbed of his humanity and need to be freed. So Nelson Mandela said that it always seems impossible until it's done. For them, the freedom fighters also, for the people of South Africa, it seems that it's impossible to get rid of apartheid system. But when they tried, they were able to achieve it. So it always seems impossible until it's done. It applies to you also, that never stop trying. And one more important thing that was said by Nelson Mandela, as explained in the lesson, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. I hope you have understood the lesson. Now you should read your lesson carefully and try to understand the hidden meaning in it. Thank you.